My beloved child. There are moments in life that arrive without making a sound. They do not knock on the door. They do not announce themselves with flashing lights. They simply appear. Then, everything you once believed begins to shift. Today is not about luck. It is not about coincidence. It is about recognizing that every challenge you have survived has been preparing you for a moment you could never have imagined. Right now, while you are listening, something inside you is quietly changing. You may not see it yet. You may not even believe it yet. But every second you stay here will reveal another piece of a story that has been unfolding long before this very moment. By the end, you may look at your own life from a completely different perspective. Have you ever wondered why certain doors closed just when you were convinced they were meant for you? At first, it felt unfair. You questioned yourself. You questioned your decisions. You even questioned whether your efforts truly mattered. But imagine for a moment that every closed door was protecting you from a path that was never designed to help you become your strongest self. Imagine if every delay carried a hidden lesson that could only be understood later. Suddenly, disappointment no longer looks like failure. It begins to look like preparation. This changes everything. Because when preparation is complete, opportunities begin to appear in places where you stopped expecting them. The most surprising part is that they often arrive quietly, without warning, waiting only for someone who refuses to give up. There is something remarkable about people who continue moving forward even when nobody notices their effort. They build strength that cannot be borrowed. They create confidence that cannot be purchased. Every difficult morning. Every lonely evening. Every silent battle has been adding another layer to the person you are becoming. That invisible growth is far more valuable than instant success. Most people quit because they cannot see immediate results. But extraordinary transformations always begin beneath the surface. A seed spends a long time growing where nobody can see it before it finally rises into the light. Your journey has followed the same pattern. The progress you cannot measure today may become the reason everyone notices your success tomorrow. Now, think carefully. What if the greatest opportunity of your life does not arrive because you chase it? What if it arrives because you finally become ready to recognize it? Readiness changes everything. It changes how you think. It changes the people you attract. It changes the decisions you make when unexpected moments appear. Many people spend years waiting for life to change while ignoring the small choices that create extraordinary futures. Yet those small choices quietly shape the biggest turning points. Every act of courage. Every decision to continue. Every refusal to surrender writes another chapter that leads toward something greater than you can currently imagine. This is why your story cannot end where your struggles began. Before this moment passes, remember one truth. The next chapter of your life will not be defined by yesterday's disappointments. It will be defined by the strength you choose today. Every heartbeat carries another opportunity to become someone stronger, wiser, and more determined than before. Stay with this thought because what comes next may completely change the way you interpret every challenge you have ever faced. The connection between your past and your future is far deeper than it appears. And the next revelation is where that hidden connection finally begins to reveal itself. There is another truth that very few people ever discover. The greatest turning point in life rarely arrives with applause. It arrives in complete silence. While everyone else is searching for obvious signs, the real transformation begins within. That quiet change is impossible to notice at first. Yet once it begins, nothing inside you remains exactly the same. Your thoughts become clearer. Your purpose becomes stronger. Even the fears that once controlled your decisions slowly begin to lose their power. This is the hidden reason some people suddenly seem unstoppable. Their victory started long before anyone could see it. Now imagine looking back 1 year from today. Picture yourself remembering this exact moment. You realize that what once felt like uncertainty was actually the beginning of your greatest season of growth. Every setback had been teaching patience. Every delay had been building resilience. Every unanswered question had been shaping wisdom. Suddenly, the pieces fit together. The confusion that once surrounded your journey becomes a powerful reminder that clarity often arrives only after perseverance has done its work. That realization changes everything because you stop asking why difficult moments happened. Instead, you begin asking what they prepared you to become. But there is something even more surprising. Opportunities do not always appear as opportunities. Sometimes they arrive disguised as ordinary conversations. Sometimes they appear through unexpected ideas that refuse to leave your mind. Sometimes they come through people you never expected to meet. Most individuals overlook these moments because they are waiting for something dramatic. Yet history has shown that extraordinary futures are often built upon ordinary beginnings. The smallest decision made with courage can create a chain of events that completely reshapes an entire life. What seems insignificant today may become the story you tell with gratitude tomorrow. As this journey continues, another question begins to rise. What if the greatest obstacle standing in front of you has never been the world around you? What if it has been the limits you quietly accepted about yourself? Those invisible limits are powerful because they are repeated every single day without being questioned. The moment you challenge them, possibilities begin expanding in directions you never imagined. Confidence grows through action, not certainty. Progress grows through persistence, not perfection. Every step forward proves that your future is not controlled by your past but by the choices you continue making despite it. That realization carries more power than most people ever experience. Keep listening because the next part uncovers the one discovery that separates people who remain stuck from those whose lives begin changing in ways they never expected. It is not luck. It is not perfect timing. It is something far more surprising. Once you recognize it, you will never look at your own journey the same way again. Everything begins to change the moment you stop searching for proof outside yourself and start paying attention to the quiet strength that has been growing within you all along. Most people believe transformation happens in one unforgettable moment. The truth is far more fascinating. It happens through hundreds of invisible moments that nobody applauds. Every time you refuse to quit. Every time you chose hope instead of doubt. Every time you stood back up after disappointment. Those moments were never ordinary. They were building a foundation strong enough to support a future greater than you could see. The remarkable part is that you are much closer to that future than you realize. Think about every unexpected twist your journey has taken. At the time, each one seemed confusing. Some felt like endings. Others felt like unanswered questions. Yet every chapter carried something valuable that could only be understood later. Looking back, you may already notice patterns that once seemed impossible to recognize. Certain experiences strengthened your patience. Others sharpened your judgment. Some introduced you to people who changed your direction forever. Nothing was entirely wasted. Every experience quietly added another piece to the person you are becoming. That hidden pattern continues even now, whether you notice it or not. Here is where the story becomes even more surprising. The opportunity capable of changing your future may not require becoming someone completely different. It may simply require becoming more fully yourself. The qualities you once overlooked could become your greatest advantage. The ideas you dismissed could become your biggest breakthrough. The dreams you quietly placed aside could still be waiting for the right season to return. Life has an extraordinary way of revealing possibilities when preparation meets persistence. That meeting point often arrives without warning. One ordinary day suddenly becomes unforgettable because you finally recognize what has been in front of you all along. There is another detail that almost everyone misses. Confidence does not appear after success. Confidence grows because of the decisions made before success arrives. Every courageous choice expands your ability to face the next challenge. Every lesson learned creates room for greater opportunities. This steady growth cannot always be measured, but it can always be felt. One day you wake up and realize that the situations which once frightened you no longer control your thinking. That quiet realization becomes the beginning of a completely different chapter. It is the kind of change that cannot be taken away because it was built from experience instead of circumstance. The next chapter reveals the missing piece that connects every challenge, every delay, and every unexpected opportunity into one powerful picture. Once that final connection becomes clear, you may discover that your journey has never been moving away from your purpose. It has been moving toward it from the very beginning. And that realization has the power to change the way you see every single step that comes next. There comes a moment when everything that once felt disconnected suddenly begins to make sense. Not because the world around you has completely changed, but because your understanding has. The questions that kept you awake no longer carry the same weight. The doubts that once echoed in your mind begin to fade into the background. You realize that every season of waiting was shaping your character, and every unexpected turn was quietly preparing you for responsibilities you could not have carried before. This realization is rare. Most people never pause long enough to recognize it. Those who do often discover that the greatest change in life begins with a single shift in perspective. Now imagine standing at the edge of a brand new chapter. Behind you are memories filled with lessons, victories, and moments that tested every part of your determination. Ahead of you is a future that has not yet revealed its full potential. The remarkable thing is that the bridge between those two worlds is built by the decisions you make today. Every choice becomes another step forward. Every act of patience becomes another stone beneath your feet. Every moment of courage strengthens your direction. While others are distracted by temporary obstacles, you are quietly building something lasting. That is the difference between those who simply wish for change and those who prepare themselves to receive it. There is one more truth that deserves your full attention. Extraordinary opportunities often appear just after ordinary persistence. They do not always arrive with loud announcements or dramatic signs. Sometimes they begin with one conversation, one unexpected idea, one small decision that seems insignificant at first. Looking back, that tiny moment becomes the point where everything started moving in a different direction. This is why every day matters. Every action matters. Every decision carries the possibility of opening a path that has never existed before. The future is not created all at once. It is built one faithful step after another, even when the destination remains out of sight. As you continue listening, remember this. Your greatest strength has never been the absence of challenges. It has always been your willingness to continue despite them. That determination has been writing a story far more powerful than you ever imagined. The chapters ahead are still waiting to unfold, and each one carries possibilities greater than the last. Stay with this journey, because the next revelation uncovers the final connection that ties every lesson, every challenge, and every hidden opportunity together into one unforgettable conclusion. The ending is closer than you think. Yet before it arrives, there is one final piece that changes the meaning of everything you have heard so far. Once it is revealed, you will understand why this journey could never have unfolded any other way. And that final realization is where the true transformation begins. The final piece has been quietly waiting for this exact moment. Every idea you have heard until now leads here. Not to a promise that everything will suddenly become perfect, but to a realization that changes the way you face every new day. Real transformation does not begin when circumstances become easier. It begins when your mindset becomes stronger than your obstacles. That is why some people continue rising no matter what stands before them. They have discovered something that cannot be taken away. They understand that every challenge carries an opportunity to grow wiser, every setback carries a lesson that strengthens tomorrow, and every new sunrise offers another chance to move one step closer to the life they truly want. Look back for one final moment. Think about every season when you believed your progress had stopped. Those were the moments when the deepest growth was taking place beneath the surface. Like a tree strengthening its roots before reaching higher into the sky, your unseen progress was preparing you for greater responsibilities and greater opportunities. The waiting was never empty. The effort was never wasted. The quiet days were never meaningless. Every experience was shaping a version of you that is more capable, more resilient, and more prepared than ever before. That is why your future should never be measured only by where you stand today. It should be measured by the strength you have gained along the journey. Now the title becomes clear. Your life is about to change because you are no longer the same person who started this journey. The experiences that once seemed like obstacles have become the very foundation of your growth. Your perspective has expanded. Your determination has deepened. Your ability to recognize opportunity has grown stronger. The change does not begin with a single event. It begins with a single decision to move forward with confidence, patience, and purpose. Once that decision becomes part of who you are, every new opportunity has the potential to lead you somewhere greater than you once imagined. Remember this whenever uncertainty appears again. Do not allow temporary moments to define your permanent direction. Keep learning. Keep growing. Keep believing that meaningful progress is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. The people who create extraordinary lives are not always the fastest or the loudest. They are the ones who continue moving forward when nobody else can see the result. One consistent step becomes another. One small victory becomes another. Over time, those moments create a story that once seemed impossible. That story can begin again every single day you choose to continue. As this journey reaches its conclusion, carry one thought with you. The future is not something that simply happens to you. It is something you help shape through your choices, your perseverance, your character, and your willingness to keep moving forward. The next chapter of your life has not been written yet. That is what makes it powerful. Every new day places another blank page before you, waiting for your courage, your wisdom, and your determination to fill it with a story worth remembering. The greatest chapters are often the ones that begin with a quiet decision never to stop believing in what is possible.